most of those bitches would be running away screaming, "You get what you pay for."
Hello, everybody. This is Preston Holder here with Pocket Jacks Comics. I've decided we're just going to start with the porn today. So joined once again by our great pornographer John and Larry and Danny. All right, so we got the Demon.
Apparently, I'm not so great because I'm seem to be rubbing Preston the wrong way all the time.
Look, okay, I'm a writing god, and I'm handing down pronouncements, and you should follow them. There you go. That's all I'm saying. So
at least he's rubbing Preston some way.
Exactly. All right. Look, maybe I'm off. All right. So, our episode 3, The Devil's Night Out. Tell us about this one.
So this is basically the first episode where the premise of the show actually comes to fruition, which is basically where Lolita is running from the police and from the angels, and she helps people that are otherwise left out by society.
Now, why would a succubus do that?
Because she has to. Because she can only last 3 days on Earth.
Okay.
So unless Emiya lets her stay.
Okay. Why would that make her help homeless people?
Because Emmy told her to.
Okay. All right.
So it was a way of trying not to have one character, because, well, to the way I understand how Viviax works, she's constantly trying to take over.
Yes.
Right.
People's bodies and souls and all that jazz.
Right.
Which seems very in the line with what a succubus would be doing.
Right. Well, that's why I said.
Yeah.
Lolita doesn't exactly work under traditional succubus rules.
I'm with you. All
right. So she needs a compatible vessel.
Yeah.
On Earth in order to stay on Earth.
Okay.
So she's doing this so Emmy lets her stay on Earth?
Yes.
So she's paying rent.
More or less, yes.
More or less, yeah, okay. Paying rent and good deeds for homeless people.
And anybody else who might need it.
There you go. Anybody else that's on the oppression intersectionality hierarchy. I like it. Okay.
Basically, yes.
Yes.
It's kind of like The Equalizer, if you guys remember that show from the 80s, except instead of it being a retired spy, it's...
I don't even know what that means, but okay.
It means janitor on a
pole.
Oh,
wait, I forgot the janitor popsicle, of course. How could I forget? All right, who wants to be our narrator?
Larry's going to narrate, of course.
Larry's going to narrate.
If I might need to mute myself when you guys go back shit and I can't control my laughter.
And Nadia, who's going to be our Nadia?
I'll do Nadia, and Preston and Danny, you guys can do your regular peoples.
Okay. All right, Larry, take us in.
Okay, so we got episode 3 of The Devil's Night Out. Interior, Nadia's ballet studio. A dozen women and girls ages 10 to 30 in tutus and yoga outfits perform several stretches as Nadia, 30s, walks in between them in rows. Nadia, go ahead.
Play and flex. Play and flex.
Emmy works out alongside the teenagers and adults. Interior, the 8th House Motel, Scorpio Room, day. A male first strikes Lolita in the face. She falls over. Sorry, what's that?
A fist.
Fist.
Oh, a male fist. Sorry.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes, strikes Lolita in the face. She falls over in bed. The man steps forward, rams her ass, pulls her hair hard. Lolita struggles unsuccessfully against him, which only increases his pleasure. He pulls out, throwing her across the bed. Getting on top of her, he puts both hands around her neck, strangling her as he pounds her pussy.
I really like your choice of words on that
one. Lolita grabs his wrist, twisting his skin, scratching his arm, but he doesn't budge. Interior, Nadia's ballet studio. Nadia turns off the music player.
All right, girls, good workout.
I mean, look, the link is in the Discord. All you got to do is come on. Unless I'm missing something. Or not.
Okay.
I don't know. All right. I mean.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. And yes, he doesn't waste. He's very efficient. So
yeah.
Am I missing something in Discord? Did someone message me in Discord? I don't think so. No.
I don't have it open right now. So.
Darth, you can just. The link is right there in the Discord thing. You can just come in.
It's very easy to click on.
It's very easy. Right.
Yes, it's in the channel called Writers Stream Links.
Yeah.
Anyway. Appropriately named.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Where were we?
We were at Nadia turns off the music player.
Okay.
All right, girls. Good workout.
All right. The younger girls go back to their parents sitting in the corner watching. Emmy pulls out a rolled up wad of cash from her duffel bags, hands it to Nadia.
Oh, I don't understand. I mean, you presented a script. You got issue 2 of Isidora coming out. Traditionally, we have the writers on.
Typically.
So, I mean, expected is if you would like, we can do. Oh, okay, got it. Very good. All right, fair enough. All right, okay. Humor doesn't translate, well, particularly sarcasm through text. But all right, where were we? All right, the younger girls?
No, your line.
My line. My roommate finally paid me her back rent.
Thank you.
Okay. Interior, the 8th House Motel, Scorpio Room. The man continues pumping against Lolita until he climaxes. He pumps a few more times before collapsing beside her, breathing heavily.
Lolita, nice worth.
Yes. Lolita shoots upright, coughing and wheezing.
You're all right, girl.
Thanks.
Most of these bitches would be running away screaming.
You get what you pay for.
The man gets up, starts dressing.
At least you didn't pass out. Then Pepper charges extra.
So, have you ever thought about, like, not hitting or strangling?
Yeah, my wife. What do you think I pay you cunts for?
I'm glad to be of service.
The man exits the hotel room. Interior, 8th House Motel, Pepper's room, day. Cigarette smoke hangs in the air as Pepper, the madam, sits at the corner table, counting her money. Salt and a mountain of a man stands by the door. Lolita sits across from Pepper, wearing a simple little negligee, also smoking.
I should have made him tip me more.
The asshole fee is your tip.
Pepper drops a wad of cash in front of Lolita. She rifles through it.
Just make sure they don't find out.
Find out?
That you're a kinky fuck who enjoys the beatings and stranglings. It takes the pleasure of control out of it for them.
You think I should hospital trip?
Don't quit your day job. Your acting isn't that good.
I'm insulted. My daddy says I'm amazing in bed.
Sounds like a real devil.
Satan himself.
Pepper laughs. Knock, knock. Salt opens the door. A dozen of Pepper's girls, all of them between the ages of 18 and 29 years of age, enter. Oh, man.
Come in, ladies.
Salt closes the door.
I have been asked to host a party for 3 of our biggest clients. It will be held at Japanese Bathhouse, about a 3-hour drive from the city. If you're lucky, it's an overnight stay.
The girls are pleased at the thought.
Be sure to rest up. We head out tomorrow afternoon.
We?
Of course. I'm Switzerland.
Interior. Emmy and Lolita's apartment. Day. Emmy enters the small 2-bedroom apartment, finding Lolita in human form, wearing nothing but a kiss the cook apron, cooking dinner.
You're just in time for dinner.
Emmy walks up to the table.
I'm making your favorites: shrimp, scampi, and asparagus. And
Lolita presses a bottle of wine, presents a bottle of wine, pours Emmy a glass.
What do you want?
Want nothing. Can I do something nice for my bestest friend in the whole wide world?
See, like this is dialogue. This is like she's like we're besties. I'm like, this is not how a succubus should talk.
She's not a
Like,
succubus.
Okay,
I'm
not
behind
basically-
behind this forced bestie dialogue, so
Right.
yeah, that's actually characterful and also charming.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Okay, yeah, this is... Emmy arches a brow.
Just go shower. Dinner will be ready in 15 minutes.
If you say so.
Before Emmy can get a step away,
So, if you did want to do a favor for your bestest friend in the world, sorry, that's how we're supposed to read the italics, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Here, by the way, is misspelled. Let's hear it.
Oh, yes, it is.
We've got this work party tomorrow, and it probably going to go long. It's probably going to go long. So I really need to rest up beforehand. Beforehand is one word.
Fine, but don't do anything I wouldn't.
I wouldn't dare.
Last time I woke up in some strange dude's bed.
Okay, look, sorry, I get urges.
Yeah, but you can't get pregnant and are immune to STDs. I'm not.
Fine, next time I'll use a condom.
No, next time handle your carnal urges in your damn body, not mine.
You guys so cute when you're angry.
I'm going to go shower alone.
Dinner's in 10.
Emmy heads back. Oh, did we
Yeah,
miss
sorry,
one?
I totally stepped on you there, Larry.
Yeah.
It was just, it seemed appropriate at the time.
That's fine. Okay. Exterior, Parmer and Associates bus stop night. An Uber pulls up. Emmy, dressed in denim coveralls, a black top, and a bandana covering her face, exits.
Good night.
Good night. Darth, if you're around, do you want to do Marco? Or do you not want to read it all?
Oh no, I can read.
Okay.
Okay.
I was
why
just,
don't you do Marco?
you guys were in the middle of it, so I was just.
No, it's okay. It's a new character, and he's got quite a bit of lines, so I'll give them to you.
Okay, I'm downloading these as we go along. So which one is this?
This is
It's on the screen.
Matrix, but it is on the screen. But yeah,
Well, I guess I can just read the screen.
Yeah.
Let's just take
I'll do Bobby when he comes up.
Okay.
Cool. All right. Marco, 26, the janitorial supervisor.
Revenge.
Oh, Revenge of the janitor. Yeah.
What? There's actually Revenge of the Janitor? Okay, yeah, old.
A group of night porters are waiting at the bus stop. Holy moly, there's a bunch of them. Yeah, there we go.
Bobby's late again, huh?
Better not dock our pay because this pendejo is late.
I'm sending a strongly worded letter to our union representative.
You're funny, mija.
He's kind of cute. Have you done him yet?
Just then, Bobby, late 40s, pulls up in a poor man's Bentley sedan, i.e. Honda, Genesis, Chrysler 300. He parks in the lot, strolls over to them.
Good evening, everybody.
He unlocks the door, letting them into the office building.
Hey,
Interior.
as of you previously working at a car rental agency, Hyundai Genesis are actually really freaking nice cars. I'm just going to let you know that right now.
Yeah, but they're not a Bentley.
I know.
A 300 Chrysler 300 can be a nice car too, but
Yeah.
still not a Bentley. It's one of those that it's part of his character that you learn in a later episode. But
Right.
Okay, sure. Interior, Palmer and Associates, janitorial closet. The large janitorial closet has shelves stocked with supplies and a desk with a computer off to the side. Bobby opens the office, unlocks a key box hanging by the door before planting himself at the desk. Marco drives up
Divvies.
the keys from the key.
Divvies, yeah.
Divvies up the keys from the key box and hands out the clipboards. Emmy and the other night porters collect their carts before heading out to complete their assignments. Bobby fires up the computer and watches Stranger Things on Netflix. Interior office building, 4th floor, cubicles night. Emmy walks through the office dumping the trash cans.
So why not?
Do you ever stop thinking about sex?
Who do you think was Vladimir Nabokov's inspiration?
Who?
Very funny. What's the worst that could happen?
I don't know. He finds out I'm not 18.
That was a terrible laugh.
Yeah.
Lolita burst out laughing.
You're wanted for 2 murders, and you're more worried the guy finds out you're underage?
Hey, I committed one of those.
Yeah, well, maybe you'll get lucky, and whoever committed the other one will get blamed for yours.
I already have my suspicions on committed the second one. By the way, the underage girl who has sex is not actually under any legal penalty.
Who?
But if she likes the guy would be. So she wouldn't want to put that on him, right?
Right. Okay. Amy
Who?
stops in her tracks.
Yes.
No, sorry.
You still think I did it?
You're a violent, sex-obsessed demon. I wouldn't put it past you. By the way,
Hey.
past, P-A-S-T, I believe. Is that
Yep.
P-A-S-T?
Past?
Yeah.
Yes, you would be correct.
Yeah.
It would be past as in the past.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I didn't hurt anyone who didn't already have it coming.
Go to sleep and leave me alone.
Emmy turns a corner, finding Marco.
Emmy, you okay?
Yeah, why?
Sounded like you were talking to yourself.
Busted!
Just think it out loud helps clear your head, right?
Yeah, sure. Anyway, I'm going to finish my round. Let me know if you need help with anything.
She needs help getting off.
I got it handled.
No, she doesn't. I've seen her try. Pathetic.
Marco swipes the key card to unlock the elevator. Emmy waits until the door closes, I'm guessing.
Yeah, till the door's
Yeah.
closed.
I'm never agreeing to this again.
Just remember, shrimp scampi, red wine, asparagus. I even made you leftovers for lunch.
Shut up and go to sleep.
Interior Japanese bathhouse, sushi lounge day. Lolita lies across a whatever sushi table.
It's naked sushi.
Okay, yes. Quiet Jakarta music plays. Pepper, wearing a long, slender black dress, socializes with attendees. Salt, towering over the crowds in a black tux, is never more than a few feet away. Pepper's girls, however, dress to showcase their talents. In quotations. Lou Xiaolong, 60s, greets Pepper.
Preston, why don't you do Leo?
Miss, what kind of accent?
He's Chinese.
Miss Pepper, thank you again for receiving us.
Of course. Anything I can do for my 3 favorite clients.
Have you met my son? Lou presents. Lou.
Lou presents to. Is it Lilu or Lilu?
Leo.
Liu.
Okay. Leo hungs 30 to Pepper. All right.
I don't believe we have.
Pepper offers her hand. Young kisses it.
Good to meet you.
Good to meet you.
Enjoy the food and entertainment.
Alexei Dimitrov,
Dimitrov.
30s, enters the room. Security in tow. Along with them is Mikhail. Mikhail bends to the crowd as Pepper greets Alexei.
Alexei, good to finally meet you. How is your father?
Do we have an Alexei?
No, you guys can just pick him.
Very good. He regrets is unable to attend.
Do give him my regards.
Hyung watches one of Pepper's girls, London, working the crowd, and Mikhail approaches London.
Darth, why don't you do McCall?
Okay. Evening. London smiles. Her eyes betray their relationship as more.
No, you're not. Just the dialogue.
Oh,
Larry's,
okay.
Larry's still doing
I'm not used to the
Evening.
format. Gotcha. Okay,
That's
that's
okay.
that's narrative. Okay. Evening.
London smiles. her eyes betray their relationship is more than professional.
We don't have a London.
Hello again, Mikhail.
London takes his arm. He young watches them from across the room. Alberto
Gutierrez.
greets Pepper with a hug, kissing her both on both cheeks. Sorry.
Preston, why don't you do Gutierrez?
Pepper, do you ever age? You must tell your wife, my wife, your secret. There.
Lots of sex with younger men.
Yeah, you got it.
Enjoy the party.
All right, those are 10 pages. All right.
Lots of character introductions. They're all going to become very, very important very soon.
Well, we had sex, which is important. In our sex script, it is important that we have sex. So we had sex. That's good. Lolita and Emmy, kind of palling about town, doing the besties thing. Hearts forever. It had a good flow to it. We're introducing some new characters. I'm looking forward to new stories. We got to go back to the janitor's closet. There was no revenge plot. I was a little disappointed there, but I'm going to say that for construction.
It's not even.
It's not the same closet, I know. Yeah.
So I really liked the interaction with Lolita and Emmy. That was sort of working. I sort of wished I'd have seen more of that in a context where, as you were sort of foreshadowing before we started reading, where Lolita's trying to do good things and then has to come back and report back and like have slightly more substantial conversations. I think that would be really fun with that kind of sort of beat and energy to it. That would really work. So I'm super excited to see where that goes. And really confused as to all the character introductions because it seems fairly obvious just from genre that this is a gang of different gangsters that's going on, but it's not really clear quite yet.
You hit the nail on the head. Yes, they are 3 different gangster families that are coming together for super evil needs.
Larry.
Yes. Positives. Dialogue flows very well. Lots of good wit in there. I don't really have a whole lot to add that everybody else hasn't already said. So.
Lunga.
Yes. Now I see this is episode 3. So is this like a 3rd issue of a series, or is this?
Yeah, more or less.
Okay. I haven't kept that on it, so sorry.
It's okay.
But yeah, like they said, the dialogue I think is spectacular. It flows very well. I think it bounces back and forth between characters at a very easy pace, almost like when you're watching those sitcoms or shows you see on TV where they have that witty dialogue between characters. It just goes back and forth, back and forth. So if it has that and it's real good, I think it's coming off well as far as that. Are we doing just positives? Then we're going to go around to the other stuff.
Well, you're the last in line, so you can now begin.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't have many criticals. I would say, I think maybe there's too many characters introduced at one time. You kind of get overwhelmed with them, and people had that problem with Game of Thrones, where it's just like you have a million characters thrown at you all at once, and sometimes it can be kind of hard to follow, especially in comic book format. I
make it really easy. There's the Chinese, there's the Russians, and there's the Colombians.
There you go.
Yeah.
I tried to make it as easy as possible.
Yeah. But yeah. So I mean, that's the only thing I would say. I mean, me personally, again, it's just a personal thing. I usually don't try to put more than, I would say, 3 characters in one, speaking characters in one scene. Unless it's something that requires it, like there's a meeting of the gangs, the family leaders, and there's 8 people at the table. Obviously, you need more people with that. That's the only thing I would say about it. But other than that, I think it flows very well.
One of the things I noticed compared to the last couple of scripts is that the transitions from scene to scene are a lot more sudden here. And again, I don't know how much of this I've missed, but it seemed a bit more jarring compared to like the really direct causal transitions that we had like the last 2 or 3 sections of your story that I have. Because like I saw a couple of these as well on like some previous stream replays. So like we're not switching scenes because of something. We're switching scenes because exposition needs to happen is what feels like a lot. So I know that we're setting up like a bunch of arcs and putting a lot of balls in the air, but foreshadowing what kind of balls those are going to be, as it were. There are so many balls that we need to just juggle in this porn comic. So as long as we make sure that we're juggling our balls correctly, that means like there's some foreshadowing or some sort of thematic connection that gets us across that scene transition without being like, well, wait a second, why is Emmy going back to the rape janitor office? Or
it's
like,
not a rape janitor.
I know.
Wait a minute. I played. Wait, I was a janitor. I played a rape janitor. Is that what you're telling me? Is that what you're telling me? I was suckered into that.
Rape victim janitor.
No.
Or like, you know, why is Lolita doing this job that obviously she's very well suited to, but not, as you were suggesting in the previously on, like more obviously trying to pay the rent in a less financial sort of way. Like she's trying to pay the rent, you know, morally by showing she can do good things to and explaining.
Oh, I thought you were going orally,
Emma, right? Yeah, no. Like, because right now she's literally paying the rent through, like, you know, what she's already good at.
That's right.
Yes.
Yes.
As compared to struggling to pay the rent, doing what she's bad at. Like, it would to nail that balance where it's still Emma's body and still in charge. Like, I think leaning into the lethal protector type character that Lolita could be might be a way to go, but then it's harder to shoehorn sex in. So I totally see where the challenge is here.
Right.
And again, there are many balls to juggle.
Yes.
It's still successfully, like nothing hit the ground. You can juggle those balls. You need to juggle more balls.
We have a producer note. What do we think about the janitor faking his death and coming back?
I don't know if they're gonna fake that.
You know what? That's more plausible than QAnon, so I'll buy it.
There we go. All right.
Well, that's great.
Well, Darth seemed to like the dialogue, so I don't understand why your succubus sounds like a Valley girl. All right, fine, but whatever.
So, you got to stop thinking of her like a succubus.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's a demon. But she's not a succubus. Succubi do not exist in my universe.
She's a demon from the Valley.
Yeah. Valley of Hell.
Think of Dima and Lolita and Emmy's relationship like the two girls from American Beauty.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that. You have the young, the innocent one, and the other one that's always talking about sex. You know, it's kind of like
demon. She's not a demon.
But she's a demon.
Okay. Anyway,
look, I was given notes.
She's like a Valley girl with superpowers,
and I think it landed.
Okay.
I mean, if the vampires in Twilight can be in high school perpetually, I mean, I suppose it's true.
I'm just saying, your audience is going to have an expectation for what a demon should sound like based on every other time they've seen a story and been told that's a demon, and they don't tend to sound like Valley girls. But whatever. Right.
Don't listen to him, John. Don't listen to him.
Yeah, I'm behind Valley Girl Demon.
Right.
Don't listen to him.
He just wants
you and your tropes, Preston.
He wants Viviax in my story.
I want a demon that sounds like a
doesn't
demon. I want a demon.
My story.
This is not a demon. All right, fine. All right, I guess that's about all I got.
I have one note. Okay. So I know you're kind in show running terms because you wrote this as a script. for a TV show. You're moving from pilot to episodic, so you need to set up more of an episodic tone to it. But as far as like the actual story goes, I feel you lost kind of some of the pacing from the last thing because you don't have your antagonist doing anything at the beginning. So there's not a lot of stake right now
No, you don't.
in the story. You know what I mean? So it just seemed like a run-of-the-mill sort of thing, even though there's, you know, sex and hookers and stuff like that going on. But without the antagonist present throughout the thing, it kind of loses something in this chapter, I guess. So I want to see some more of the angels hunting them.
Yeah,
Now they look really, really stupid because they're like, we can't find this demon, but we're angels, and you know we have our boss is like the all-seeing eye, but apparently he can't find these people. So.
Yeah, I do want to say, like, I felt like the conflict kind of dropped off because,
yeah,
you know, we had angels. Angels are looking for these people, trying to kill them,
yeah.
And we not only haven't seen them, we haven't even referred to them.
No.
So
they're off doing their hooker jobs,
yeah,
and their janitor jobs, but you know, and that's fine. But
the story kind of took a detour away from the cool action.
Yeah, but here's the thing: does the story constantly need the action going and constantly need the struggle there? I don't think it does.
Yeah.
The story progresses.
Is it
I don't
episodic or serial? Is a question that Larry brought up that I think really does impact how we should be reading this.
Yeah.
Okay.
I am setting up the villain of the week. That's what the whole party's for.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah.
But where does the conflict come into? Sorry, the villain of the week being the gangs. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So where do we learn what the villain wants and
in the next
where
10
do we get
pages?
the idea?
I ran out of time.
There you
The
go.
10-page limit came up. The party
Yeah.
doesn't end at page 10. The
It's
party
true,
goes
yeah.
on for another 6 pages, I think.
That's always a
And
problem
then
with going 10
where do
pages
we,
at a time.
where are we like reminded as the audience what the protagonists want, and that's the thing that's going to get sidelined as the villain of the week comes in and takes over the story. Like, what do the protagonists want? Like, Emma is doing ballet now and not murdering rapists. So I'm cool with that, but what does she want? And then, like, where is it that we, like, Lolita says what she wants to do, like, in this long-term arc sort of way? That should be established early on because, hey, here are the characters, here's what they're about, and then you throw a wrench in the works.
I'm sorry, it's not you, Danny. It's the background noise
hear it
that
too,
Darth
don't worry.
has.
Oh, I forgot to mute. Yeah, sorry. No, I'm sanding my Mandalorian stuff.
Yeah, the Mandalorian stuff.
I'm
Guys.
serious. Now I gotta change my cam in order to stream it. But
Now you got to prove that you're not doing anything on your
I am. I gotta get my cam set up now to do
Hey,
that.
you know, I write some spicy scripts, and if you need a couple minutes.
All right.
Well, okay, John, to that end, Lugga definitely gave you. Okay, fine.
That's even worse.
Well, I'm showing it at least so you know it. It's a file.
So either way, that's a vote of confidence from Darth, right? Like, you got the right sound effect for the audience.
Yeah.
Cool. All that stuff lands. But then, like, fitting the character arcs in early, just get them done quickly, right? Every time you watch episodic TV, like, at the beginning of the pandemic, I watched all of Supernatural for bad reasons. But every episode is like, oh, I just want to go like murder shit and go on this stupid road trip to like 3 small towns in Vancouver and say it's the American Midwest. Okay, cool, but I just really want to go find the demon that killed my mom. You know.
Oh, and don't forget alternating which one goes to hell every season.
Yeah, I know. Because that's so terrible.
That was really where the show got a little weak. I will admit, I watched Supernatural since from the beginning all the way till the end.
Yeah, I watched like all of it in like 3 weeks. I just ran it 24/7 for like.
That's rough.
I mean, how many seasons did it have?
wrote
Did it have 20 seasons?
15.
15 is way too many. I don't care how good a show is.
Too many.
Yeah.
It went on for way too long. They by like season 7, they were basically repeating the exact same story arc. It was basically the world's going to come to an end. Let's stop the world from coming to an end, and then or the apocalypse. Apocalypse is coming. Let's stop the apocalypse. They stop the apocalypse, and then the last episode, a new apocalypse starts, and then they spend the entire next season, 24 episodes, trying to stop the next apocalypse. They stop it just in time for another one to start. It's like,
to
oh
my
my
point,
gosh.
You got to give two guys with
John.
daddy issues something to do. So
this is the first 10 pages, so you do need to say, here's who the characters are, and then what's the apocalypse that they need to stop. And then send them, off into the sidelines of their Monster of the Week shenanigans. Like, so what they want, what the Monster of the Week want.
Right now, they're just trying to stay low, stay hidden, not attract attention.
So having them talk about that a little bit early on, like, lets us establish what they're trying to do, and then when they can't do it because of the villain, then that produces conflict for later that you can continue to
there we go.
bring into the arc and render it more complex.
Yeah, it just needs like a little page insert at the beginning, and I think it'll be fine. So.
Yeah, or like even during the like a couple of half lines here and there during that dinner scene.
During their witty banter back and forth.
Yeah. I want to do this. Well, I don't want to do this. I'm trying to do this other thing for you, so I can not get kidnapped by angels and sex murdered by heaven or whatever the fuck is going on. Right? Yeah, I just said sex murdered because I've been on this stream 3 weeks in a row.
There you go. Yeah.
But like you have some sort of looming thread, even if it's not there. People, all of a sudden, your protagonists have a motivation to do something to prevent that.
Okay, no, I got you.
Then, and that helps bring the Monster of the Week. If you want to bring any of those monsters back, you can keep doubling down on preventing.
My villain of the week is going to actually go for several episodes.
Yeah, so it's going to be this constant background sidetrack from what they actually want to do, is dealing with this bullshit.
Right.
Okay.
All right.
So I think that might be a cool thing to remind the audience what they're in for. And you've definitely done that with the sex scenes.
Yeah.
Which has a little murder in it, which is a nice change of pace.
Yeah. Supernatural had very few great characters. One part is super good, other is super evil. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I do have one question, if I may ask. Preston's got
to load up a different script anyways.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
No, given
we did that one last week.
No, Lolita is virtually immortal and unbreakable. Did her being beaten and strangled do anything, or is that just like, did that seem out of place, jarring, or unusual?
Not really.
No, she could have Superman walked into a mugger with a knife in a back alley and prevented a purse snatching by taking the knife to the chest and not caring, and it would have been the same effect.
Yeah.
Okay, good. That's exactly what I wanted without having to actually explain what she was doing. So as long as that's
brilliant.
Yeah, and then you have the pimp sort of actually explaining it for the audience. That was good exposition there.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, that's what I wanted to make sure. I wanted to make sure that I was communicating that well, and it wasn't nobody was thinking, wait a minute, she was taking bullets before and how she's getting punched in the face. I don't get it.
All right. Is this the right one? Paradox Road?
This is the right one. Yep. So previously on Cygnus Imperium, now I guess we'll actually start with the issue 1 synopsis, because I think I might have done that last time, but we deep dove into issue 2 like from cold, because apparently I'm accidentally an asshole. Sorry guys, thank you for your patience. So in issue 1, Thorn and Calamity and Eric, their ship gets blown up by stormtroopers. They land on a deserted planet. They meet Ravana and his android Ego. And then when stormtroopers come back to finish the job, which is to kill them before they can return a treaty to their homeworld, get it signed, and start an alternate government, Ravana gets shot in the head, wakes up with a giant robot that starts punching spaceships. And Ravana was secretly the Galactic Emperor. He disappeared for 300 years. and now he has a giant spaceship punching robot, and they're like, yeah, I want in on this action. Let's hang. In the beginning of this episode, they have started futzing around and getting the ship operational, and then got way.
I'm sorry, say that again. You're breaking up a little bit.
And her gang.
Okay.
Can you
say
that's
that
just me.
Then, while testing their ship in space, they got waylaid by a sexy goth pirate and her gang.
Oh yeah. Oh yes, I remember that.
Oh right, yes, sexy
Yeah,
goth pirate.
sexy
Yes,
goth pirate.
that showed up right at the end of the
I was
last
a big
one.
fan
Yeah.
of sexy goth pirate.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
Preston
think we all were.
was very happy at that.
Yeah.
All right, who's narrating this one?
I live to please.
Okay.
Okay.
I can narrate, or let's have Darth narrate, I
All right.
guess.
You want the
Cool.
guy with the
Yeah.
never-ending background error noise
yes, that one.
to narrate?
What do you mean? Never-ending background
That's a good
error
point.
noise. What are you talking about?
You've
There's
got a lot of feedback, my friend.
Yeah.
Do I?
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
a ton of
Background
bass
noise,
sound. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
weird. Hold on one second.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, that was the 3D printer fan. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay, that would do it.
There
Yeah.
you
Then
So I just shut off.
I don't remember who did what last time, because I gave y'all a completely different script last week. So John, let's have you be Thorn. Preston, let's have you be Ravana. Put on your best supervillain for that. And then Larry, do Calamity. I'll do Arik. And there's
Okay.
only like one more character, I think, in this. So we'll figure it out as it comes along.
All right.
Phew.
So, which one am I? I'm Ravana. Yes.
Yes.
Ravana, the villain. Okay.
We ready?
The hero who was once a villain.
There we go. All right.
We'll see.
Panel 1. Interior Paradox Bridge. Thorn steps forward calmly to speak, while Ravana stands behind him looking over his shoulder. Reference issue 1, page 1, panel 1.
Captain Reese? Is that how he says it? Reese?
Yeah.
Or Rise? Reese.
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 Captain Reese, this is a manned experimental vessel. We are not salvage. Why not try that protector cruiser down in orbit around Ulaya 42?
Panel 2. Interior Grinner Mothership. Wider angle. Snitch and her pirate crew are all laughing. They look like a gang of rejected extras from Mad Max. Her number 1 looks like Sting in the David Lynch Dune film. Nice.
Yeah.
Let's be
So-
particular. Let's be
There we
particular.
go.
Yeah. So who wants to be the sexy goth pirate? I feel like that's a Larry thing.
Okay.
All right. Let's do it.
Or it's a John thing. Well, let's have Larry do it.
I'll do it. Sure. Yeah. Ha! You expect me to believe a protector cruiser was destroyed by that? What are you, Terrazan? I'm surprised you made it this far into the void without a jump drive. However you got here, your ship is more valuable than Imperium scraps. I intend to take it.
Panel 3. Interior Paradox Bridge. Ravana turns to speak directly to Thorn.
Thorn, we got to fight. These pirates are ready to carve us up, and frankly, we can do better.
Agreed, Captain. We're expending a lot of energy keeping them from ripping us apart. I don't know how much more we can take.
Panel 4. Interior Grinner Mothership. Snitch has stood up to interrupt aggressively and call her crew to attack.
I saw that, Thorn. When I take your ship, I'm going to tear your Raven droid limb from limb and use its head as a chamber pot. Grinners, attack.
Panel 1. Exterior The Void. The ship's restraining the paradox pull the ropes tighter. It seems as if the ship's about to be pulled limb from limb. One of its legs already looks dislocated, broken.
I don't know.
Restraint tension up to 2,000%. They're trying to pull us apart.
Panel 2. Interior Grinner Mothership. Snitch laughs maniacally.
Yes, rip that ship apart.
Panel 3. Exterior The Void. Some of the other smaller Grinner ships, as well as the mothership, attack with a volley of missiles. We can see explosions on the paradox as a lot of those shots hit.
Arik, I can't operate the servos until we get free. Activate the defense pulse grid.
Panel 1, exterior, the void. The Paradox surrounds itself with a sphere of laser energy, snapping the cables, restraining it. Sound effects. Snap!
We're free.
Thorn barks out orders. Panel 2, interior Paradox bridge. Thorn barks out orders in response to the Grinner fleet approaching, visible on the view screen.
Arik, get down to weapons array. Calamity, overclock the engines. Igo, assist with repairs. Ravana, take the con.
Panel 3, exterior, the void. The Paradox flies into the middle of the swarm of Grinner ships, shooting a volley of smart missiles as it goes.
Let's show these pirates how Tezos will overthrow the Signium Imperium.
Panel 1, interior Paradox bridge. Strapped into the helm, Ravana focuses so intently on piloting the ship that the implant in his temple begins to spark.
Ravana, are you sure that Neuralink can take the strain? Can you do this? Can you do this?
Panel 2, exterior, the void. Design this panel out kind of like Da Vinci's Vitruvian Man and show Ravana's body superimposed on the Paradox.
Can you do that?
That was amazing.
Panel 3, interior Imperial throne room. Begin flashback. Emperor Ravana sits on his throne before a pennant of the Cygnus Imperium, the swan logo, looking regal yet bored. Igo stands behind him on the right, shiny and new. All 4 arms are still there, not wearing any clothes or coverings. Along the wall behind Ravana and Igo, human guards wait in the wings to protect the throne. Caption, Cygnus 157 AIF, 310 years ago.
I'll do Duke Argent. Can you do this, Ravana? The Imperium could never something exist without us. We demand you share your life extension research.
No, Argent. I will not.
Something dark side. Panel 4, shot from Ravana's POV. We can see many of the Imperium nobles dressed in formal clothes, surrounded by their retinues. They are extremely unhappy. Key nobles include Duke Argent, Marchioness Tiana, Duke Morningfire, Duke Caliot, and Duchess Reyes. Have fun with the designs. Make them weird. I hope I got the names right.
Yeah.
Talk about introducing a bunch of characters all at once.
There we go.
Totally introducing a bunch of characters all at once. I'm doing it with passion.
This life-extending nanotech is too experimental. I will not risk spreading it until it is proven safe. What if it drives me insane, eh? Then your childish plots to depose me might finally have a chance of success.
More supervillain there.
Yeah.
Duke Argent, Marchioness Tiana, Duke Morningfire, Duke Hello, Duchess Reyes. See, again, this is a situation where I understand why there's people there. It's a meeting of sorts. Panel 1, exterior.
I'm just teasing.
Cygnus
No, rightly
Palace,
so.
night. Extreme low angle, action coming towards the camera. Emperor Ravana and...
Wait, hold on. He's imagining 80s Flash Gordon. Is that pretty close?
Flash! Ah! Savior of the universe. Emperor Ravana and Igo run through an empty palace courtyard, chased by 3 cloaked assassins, firing laser guns at them. Igo is wielding 4 guns to fire lasers back. If the sky is visible, we see fireworks in the distance. The assassins are dressed in the style colors of Duke Argent. Caption, New Year's Eve, 158 AIF, 4 years later.
There, fire.
Master Ravana, this way, hurry!
Damn it! This is another one of Argent's plots.
Pew pew! Silhouette, panel 2. While running, Ravana is shot across his left temple. Panel 3, interior Cygnus Palace, night. Just inside the palace entrance, Ravana leans against the wall, bleeding from his head wound. Igo is firing at the assassins, downing one through the blast doors, which are closing.
Igo 765. I order you to save me.
Master Ravana, I am programmed for assassination and assault.
You have files on anatomy and biology, don't you?
Yes, Master.
Why are you making me ask for them then?
Jesus. Panel 4.
That's a little Terminator 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, a little input. Gina Carano's no longer employed by Lucasfilm.
Really?
Yep. Panel
Jesus
4.
Christ, Infamous is God.
Listen, it's being reported. She's no longer employed.
One tweet from Infamous and boom.
That's it.
That's
it.
Wonderful. Yeah, she was
That's
like
called
one of the
clout.
best
That's called
That's
clout.
clout. That's clout.
That's
right
clout.
there.
Exactly. That's clout.
Other people at Infamous like fire Gina Carano. Boom, done.
Take notes,
I don't know what
testify.
that
And I was
was.
like, yeah.
Right.
I'm
And
glad I've never gotten on her bad side, but I'm sure that day's coming. Oh, well.
This is so silly. Anyway, panel 4. The blast doors are nearly completely closed. Igo is looking at Ravana while shooting through the aperture. He's distracted enough that a laser blast from one of the assassins blows one of Igo's arms off.
Then be a doctor. Save me now. I can't die here.
Well, you got one of the 4 ellipses, Harrison. At least you got one of the 4 ellipses.
I can't. Oh, wait. Sorry. Then be a doctor. Save me. Now. I can't. Die. Here.
Jesus, never become an actor. Go ahead. Page 1. Interior, Cygnus throne room. Entrance, daytime. 2 human Imperial guardsmen stand inside the open doors of Ravana's throne room. Ceremonial spears cross in the center of the opening. We got the British center, I see. Though the opening, we can see through the opening.
He's Canadian.
Oh, there you go. That makes sense. Through the opening.
I read this properly anyway. So.
Yeah. Through the opening, we can see the silhouettes of members of the various factions. A master at arms, male or female, behind the guards, between the guards and the camera, reads from a scroll. Caption 163 AIF. 5 years later, Abdication Day.
Emperor Ravana regrets to inform you that public court today is suspended. Privy councilors and nobles may enter for a special session of the Executive Council.
Panel 2, Interior, Cygnus throne room. All of the faction leaders, dukes, etc., and their followers are present, as well as some of the counselors, each in weird and formal clothing arranged in an arc around the throne. Igo is standing behind the throne, now dressed as an Imperial guard. Duke Argent has stepped into the middle to speak accusingly at Ravana. Ravana looks basically the same, except now he's wearing the implant in his temple.
Why do you ignore our requests, Ravana? Will you finally share your discoveries? ...
Comma.
Or shall we disband this parliament and go to war? Here.
Panel 3, Ravana stands up and steps down to the level of the courtiers, arms open out to the sides in a peaceful gesture. Don't show the courtiers in this panel.
Duke Argent, members of my parliament, when we banded together to bring order to the galaxy, none of us expected to live as long as we have.
There you go.
I gave you the tech of life.
Loud.
I gave you the tech of life. Bow before your God.
Say it with your chest, Preston. Say it with your chest. Panel 4, overhead crane shot. Ravana stands at the level of the rest of the court. All the courtiers bow. All of the dukes remain standing.
You expect me to bow when you break our pact to share eternal life?
As you well know, Argent, nanotechnology takes time to perfect. And this new development is capable of extending life indefinitely.
He needs a twirl of mustache in that panel.
A little bit.
Yeah.
He's our hero, guys.
I would change that line to "May I remind you" or something like that, because the "as you know" is such a cliche that if they know, you don't have to say "as you know." But if you're trying to be maniacal, you could say it like, "May I remind you that it takes forever to perfect this technology." You know.
Well, the "as you know" can be used when a person's being snarky or condescending. I've seen it used that way before.
I like John's note. I've written it down. I'm going to action it.
Yeah.
All right,
Go, John. Woo!
Panel 5, close up.
Best voice acting ever.
Ever.
I don't know about
Ever.
that, but anyway.
Save me. Now. Panel
We
5.
need to get some acting agents listening to this stream.
Oh man, it'd be like, we're going now. Anyway.
Panel 5, close up of Ravana's face, smiling. He's got an ace up his sleeve.
Now I share that tech with you.
Panel 6. Suddenly, the courtiers are engulfed in a cloud of smoke. The smoke does not approach Ravana, who's controlling the cloud of nanomachines with his mind. He's still... He's still smiling. Art-wise, the only one we can see clearly is the Cloud is Ravana. Everyone else can be silhouette.
Oh, man.
Breathe deeply, friends. Welcome the nano machines that will prolong your life forever.
Panel 1. The Cloud dissipates. All the courtiers look pleased with themselves.
These nano machines are now spreading through your veins and replicating. They will maintain your bodies. Of course, it's proprietary technology. They've been programmed to self-destruct if reverse engineered. So tampering them will surely lead to a messy and...
Space age Steve Jobs. Panel 2. Close-up of Ravana tapping the implant in his head.
As for the problem of mental degeneration, I'm sure you'll be able to develop your own neural stabilizers before you go insane.
Panel 3, match cut to page 14. Panel 4, except all the courtiers look frozen in disbelief with wide eyes and raised eyebrows.
What about the Imperium?
Panel 4, end flashback after this panel. Low angle shot of Ravana walking back, determined. Igo follows behind him loyally.
The Imperium! If you want it that badly, it's yours. Fight amongst yourselves.
Page 18 and 19 is a spread page. Panel 1, exterior of the void. The Paradox flies in close to the Grinner mothership, fingers gathering energy into a fist to attack. Lights reflect off its knuckles.
Shoot them down, you fools.
We can't. They're flying too close to the mothership.
Panel 2, interior to Paradox Bridge. Close-up of Ravana's face, eyes open, tense, angry.
You got this.
This ain't nothing. They want us so badly. Let's give it to them.
Panel 3, exterior the void. Main focus. The Paradox attack connects, dealing massive structural damage to the hull of the mothership. Panel 4, interior the Grinner mothership. Close-up, Snitch panics.
No.
Panel 1, interior Paradox Bridge. Snitch appears on the view screen. The mothership's bridge has some fires, and the crew are panicking. Thorn is at the console in front, while Ravana is in the central command position. Both are looking towards the view screen.
You might escape today, but you can't fight forever. Next time we meet, I'll get you and that Raven droid.
Panel 2, Snitch blinks out. Thorn turns to Ravana.
The Scrounger feed is preparing exotic matter to jump.
Oh,
Good.
that was
Great
okay.
work, Ravana.
Yep. Derp.
Panel 3, exterior the void. The Grinner ship jumps away. Panel 4, the Paradox floats alone in the void.
Yeah.
And that's it. All right.
So is that not supposed to be exotic matter?
No.
Erotic
No.
matter?
Erotic.
Ooh. Yeah,
Nano
I like
machine,
that.
son.
Shove
Yeah.
John's script in there. Give it some erotic matter to jump.
Well, I mean, look, I certainly felt like science fiction, and we had some cool pirates. We had Steve Jobs with some nanites. That's pretty cool.
we had nanomachines, son. That's what we had. So,
I think it checked all the appropriate boxes. Well, it was entertaining. I like it.
Yeah, it was fun. I liked it.
Super
High concept science fiction is always fun. Always like to see some new stuff, and I definitely being able to visualize your spaceship as a giant mecha thing in space.
Yeah.
Made it a lot. I remember the last time I got confused
You're
about
like, what?
the spaceship is doing what?
It's kicking.
But now-
Spaceship
Dun, dun, dun. You ever seen? Come on, Robotech, man. Robotech, come on, man.
Robotech. There we go.
But,
Yeah.
it was cool.
Yeah, no, it was super entertaining. Definitely my cup of tea. I like how you want to visualize the exoticness of the Imperial scene. So yes, Big Steve understands my meme reference. Nanomachine, son. Yes. There we go. Yeah. Oh man. No, it was really good. It was super fun and entertaining. That's the type of sci-fi I like. Not too serious, but a lot of interesting designs and fun action and stuff like that. So Yeah.
Darth, thoughts?
Yeah, I wait till I'm called. Yeah, no, it's I definitely sci-fi feel. I really enjoyed. There was a lot of action in this, and it actually gave me with the flashback scenes with the royals and the stuff. It gave me a lot of feel of like the Padishah Emperor of Dune, and it also gave me feels of Final Fantasy 15. If anyone's played that, with the way the royalty was set up there, it just gave me those feels. I'm not sure if that's what you're going for, but that's the feels I got.
I haven't played Final Fantasy 15, but I told my illustrator to go watch every version of Dune, and then
There you go.
That's right.
And
Yeah,
then
there you go.
Yeah, so
Good stuff,
I'm definitely taking a Dune vibe here. Like I read all 6 of the real books.
Yeah.
And I love it, and I'm trying to get a little bit about weird sci-fi.
Yeah. I'm a huge fan of Dune, so it's appreciated. So it came across. If that was your intention, to give that feel, then it came across and you succeeded. So that's great. And being someone who wrote a book, who like my person I look up to is like a Tolkien, which is a very hard thing to reach up to when you're a writer. It's the same thing with Frank Herbert with Dune, but it's really good. I enjoyed the pacing, I enjoyed the action with it. So yeah.
All right, Larry.
Like constructives? I don't know. Like, there's not a whole lot I can add for constructives. I thought the pacing was really good and the story was fun, and maybe. No, I really have not much to add to that. Sorry, I really enjoyed it. So, yeah. I'm sure you got some stuff though.
I mean, I don't know. All right, so on the flashback, I was a little caught off guard. So, and I'm not intimately familiar with the story because we missed issue 1.
Yeah, that's true.
But all right, but Ravana is like our Captain Kirk. He's like our good guy doing things, right?
Ravana. So our Captain Kirk character is Thorn.
Okay.
So he's our good guy doing things. Gets sort of waylaid onto this wasteland planet. Ravana runs a farm. The farm turns into a giant robot when finally Ravana is discovered for helping these people out.
Right.
They don't have a ship. He has a giant spaceship punching robot.
Flying robot, yeah.
And he's like, okay, well, I guess I should take my galaxy back. You kids want to join me? And they're like, yeah.
Okay, cool. So he's like a deposed emperor. He was hiding, blah blah blah. So,
yeah.
Gotcha.
So I've got a few pages where like you end up with Ravana he does villain speeches, right? As we've seen, and yet he's heroic. Just because everyone else is so much worse, I guess, is what I was going for. So yeah, that's the setup.
Okay. Yeah, it was just when we did the flashback, I was like, huh. It was like he was just in such a different role, I feel like, than modern Ravana. But
yeah, modern Ravana, I give him a bit more folksy dialogue to go with the farmer appearance.
Got it. Okay. Anyway, yeah.
Cool.
All right. Any constructives or moving on?
Yeah, I mean, I would. Yeah, the only thing I would say is the flashback. While I did enjoy the flashback, maybe I just missed something, but I didn't see where the flashback tied into what was currently happening.
Right. Yeah, I didn't either.
That's the only issue I had with it. I'm not sure if that ties into a previous issue or earlier pages, but it didn't seem to tie in. Most times when you're writing a flashback, you usually want it to tie into what's happening in that scene. Like you don't want to do a flashback to something that happened 4 issues ago. It just seems like that's like too big of a distance or something like that. So I didn't see where the tie-in was. If I missed
the tie-in was in the flashback. He got shot in the head and then got the implant, which the implant is what he was using to control the ship. But I kind of feel like that's a weak little tie-in. Like the flashback was a really good chunk of story, very interesting, but it really didn't fit. That little tie-in was kind of irrelevant. I mean, you could have just flashbacked to him being strapped to a bed and having some, mad doctor planted on him and then come back, and you could have done that in half a page. I mean, it really had that minor little thing really didn't make that whole stretch of story fit.
Yeah,
because
I almost feel like that part would fit in more with something that was like flashing back or nodding towards some major plot element involving the nations or the leaders or whatever the political structure that's going on. You know, like this is in the past is what's affecting the future now, or you know, so that's how that felt.
Or a character internal character conflict where in the past he made the wrong decision and now that situation has repeated itself and he's now wondering, okay, am I going to make a different decision? You know, that's kind of where that kind of major flashback like that could go. And then, you know, the him getting the implant through it is just one of those little side pieces that you're like, oh, isn't that funny? That's how I got the implant. But to try to use that to tie in this completely irrelevant flashback just doesn't really feel like it works.
And the flashback was well written. I liked it.
Definitely.
I do hate flashbacks. This is actually the first one I wrote, so I'm glad you guys are focusing on it.
Yeah.
I mean, the flashback by itself was very well written. It just doesn't fit in the part of the story where you put it.
Yeah,
right.
I think that's
it's one of those things where you know, take it out, save it, put it on the shelf, and when the time is right for it, you can put it back in. This wasn't the right time for it.
So I will say it does tie into Ravana does get shot in the head in issue 1 as well. And so I wanted to sort of tie that directly to how he's surviving.
Then what you should do is have him get shot in the head, and while he's laying on the bed in a coma, then do the flashback, and then when he wakes up,
it comes right back to the present, right?
Because then it's more. It also fits in with the story more because he just got shot in the head and he's in a flashback, and you know that's usually when people do flashbacks is when you're in a coma dream sequence. It's when they typically shoehorn that kind of stuff. You know, that would be more of a tie-in to it than just we're in the middle of an action scene and nothing happens.
And sort of the other work it's doing is setting up more balls to juggle for the next issue as we go back to those other characters. Then in the next issue, drop the flashback in the beginning. Like start the issue issue 3 with the flashback, and then cut to the present.
Yeah,
when the flashback ends, just say 15 years or 500 years later, and then we just jump right back into where issue 2 left off, and then we'll figure it out.
Okay, these are great, Chris. Thanks so much, guys.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Thank you for suffering through my script.
No, that was fun.
Yeah.
All right, we ready?
Yeah.
Let's see. We got Isiodora. Okie doke.
Oh, number 2. I guess I gotta do a setup. This is the beginning of issue 2, so I guess I gotta set it up for those that haven't read it. A quick setup. So this starts out. There's only 2 characters in this and a narrator, so we only need 3 people.
There we go.
This is basically picking up right after the end of issue 1, where she was confronting some acolytes of Shub-Nigroth, and Nyarlathotep showed up right at the end of it, where the detective grabbed the yellow sign, and there's lots of confusion going on. So Nyarlathotep shows up, and it picks up right at the end of that battle. So I don't know who wants to do what.
I'm happy to narrate. I don't think I've done that yet.
Sure. Okay, narrate.
Cool.
Then we have Nyarlathotep and Isadora. Hawkberg is unconscious the entire 10 pages. So.
Okay.
Hey, you're the writer. Pick people.
Yeah.
Fine. John, you're Nyarlathotep. Danny can be Isadora, or you're the narrator. So
I'm narrating already.
Larry can be Isadora.
Sure. Yeah.
Preston is a horrendous actor. No.
His credits are in producing,
not
in.
Right.
Excellent producer.
I will
Exactly.
say, like a bad actor reading your dialogue, it actually really does help clarify where you need to improve your dialogue.
Nice.
But
That's true. I'm not a good actor either, though. So
Page
obviously, tongue in cheek. I'm just messing around, but yeah. So yeah, go ahead.
Page 1, panel 1, top half of page, profile view. Isadora and Nyarlathotep are in the abandoned warehouse. Detective Hawberg is unconscious in Isidora's lab. Nyarlathotep looks down at them, his eyes over the top of his sunglasses.
What is the meaning of this? I felt the eldritch energies reach ridiculous levels. Is this what brought me here?
Panel 2, borderless superimposed over where panel 1 and 3 meet, close-up of Nyarlathotep's face.
How did you let this mortal tap into the powers of the Old Ones, servant of the Yellow?
Panel 3, same profile view as panel 1.
I did not let her do anything. I don't know. It just happened.
Page 2, panel 1, top third of page. View looking down on Isidora and Hauberk laying on her.
I think the better question is, what is the Old One doing summoning it on Earth as a human?
Slumming it out.
Slumming, sorry. Yeah.
Panel
Those darn
2.
Canadians. They don't know English. They don't know English.
I know English
Right,
just
true,
fine.
Yeah. I thought it was a misspelling. My mistake. Yeah.
Panel 2, left side under panel 1, close-up of Nyarlathotep's face. He's just staring at her. Panel 3, next to panel 2, close-up of Isidora's face. She has a smirk on her lips. Panel 4, next to panel 3, close-up of Nyarlathotep's face, his lips pursed in thought.
Mm-hmm.
I do like how you wrote in those beat panels. Panel 5, bottom left of page, borderless. Nyarlathotep has his arms crossed, looking at the factory around him.
I think we should find better surroundings to have this discussion.
Panel 6, bottom right of page, borderless, profile view. Isidora with Hauberk in her lap. Nyarlathotep is snapping his fingers. All of them are glowing as Nyarlathotep is transporting them somewhere else. Page 3, panel 1. Close-up of a drink tumbler and Nyarlathotep's hand dropping an ice cube with tongs into the glass. Tink.
Do you like cognac? Shame on you if you don't.
Panel 2. Close-up of ice bucket. Nyarlathotep's hand with the tongs is grabbing another ice cube.
Everyone knows one of the most expensive distillers. Ones like Louis XIII. Then, of course, there's more common Hennessy and Remy Martins.
I thought that was pronounced Louis XIII. Yeah.
Man.
Sorry. Just to clarify, us Canadians have other talents.
Yeah.
Some of those are being able to speak French. Panel 3. Close-up of a drink tumbler and Nyarlathotep's hand dropping a second ice cube with tongs into the glass. He's dropping the tongs into the glass?
Ice cube with tongs into the glass. He's dropping the second. Again, my artist is Turkish and doesn't speak English as first language, so I have found unique ways to explain to him how it works. So,
as one does. Totally
yeah.
cool.
I, however, have grown fond of frappin extra.
Panel 4. Close-up of Nyarlathotep's hand grabbing the cognac bottle.
On the nose, it is very smooth and complex. The palate is supple and a rich gourmet.
Panel 5. Close-up of Nyarlathotep pouring the cognac into the tumbler.
It has exceptional length.
You see, Mr. Bond. Like, he needs to say Where is that? I don't see that. Where is that?
No, Mr. Bond. I expect you to...
That is a martini, good sir. A martini.
Including the famous Rancio, due to the Grande Champagne, distilled on lays and aged for several decades.
Panel 6. Close-up of Nyarlathotep's hand holding out the tumbler.
Try it.
Oh, jeez, I have to stop looking at Preston.
For some reason, his face has gotten really red from this and not from the Preston, are you embarrassed of alcohol?
No, I think Preston just gets flush and drunk just from the sound of alcohol. That's
what happened to me with Hut. It was
It's osmosis.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Page 4, panel 1. Small panel positioned inside the top left corner of panel 2. Close-up of Isidora's face, which is in shock. Panel 2, top third of page. Panel 1's top left corner of this panel. Zoom out from Isidora's face to show the whole room. Isidora is on the couch with Hauberk still laying in her lap. Nyarlathotep stands across from her holding the tumbler out. The room is a very modern, expensive high-rise apartment, has large windows, and is a penthouse of a skyscraper. The furniture is very minimalistic and modern. There is a small glass coffee table between them. between Nyarlathotep
And Isadora.
Isadora? Okay.
Yeah.
The liquor cart is against the wall behind Nyarlathotep.
Where are we?
My home. Did you not know that the Frappen House was founded in the 13th century as a winery in Charnete in the valley of Sigurdzrak, France?
You mentioned
you
something
should, you
about,
dumb bitch.
come on. Exactly. Well, she is 2,000 years old. She was born during the Roman times.
Panel 3, profile. Isidora reaches out and takes tumbler from Nyarlathotep.
I don't care. Why does an old one have a home on Earth like a simple mortal?
Meta. You see? She's doing what the audience is saying. I don't care.
And drinking cognac.
Panel 4, close up of Nyarlathotep from the waist up. He has his arms crossed.
I ask the questions here, and I make the rules.
Page 5, panel 1, top half of page, close up of Nyarlathotep from the waist up. He's bending forward while speaking to Isidora.
Y is a servant of the king in yellow.
Panel 2, borderless left side, overlapping bottom of panel 1, close up of Isidora's. It is stern and serious.
Harold.
Panel 3, borderless, next to panel 2, overlapping bottom of panel 1, close up of Nyarlathotep. He purses his lips in annoyance and raises an eyebrow.
Harold, taking the yellow sign.
Panel 4, borderless, next to panel 3, overlapping bottle of panel 1, close up of Isidora's face, still stern and serious.
Bearer of the yellow sign.
Panel 5, borderless, next to panel 4, overlapping bottle of the bottom of panel 1, close up of Nyarlathotep's more annoyed face. Panel 6, borderless, next to panel 5, overlapping bottle of panel 1. Oh my god, sorry. Close up of Isidora's face, she is smirking.
Again, I gotta do the descriptions for my artist understands them. This is the best
Totally
way to
cool. Look, you're writing a letter to your artist. We all get it.
Yes.
That's how comics are not the same thing as film production. Because
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I have
in
no
film
clue
production,
what
you're
you're
writing a letter
what you're
to
drawing
a
here.
person production crew. I have no idea how you're imagining some of this, but I believe you that it'll work. Panel 7, bottom half of page, profile view of Nyarlathotep looking at Isidora on the couch.
You're enjoying this, aren't you?
Very.
Page 6, panel 1, profile view of Nyarlathotep standing upright with his arms crossed.
Why are you fucking with shub people?
Panel 2, profile view of Isidora.
Why do you care?
Panel 3, profile view of Nyarlathotep, his eyebrows furrow above his sunglasses.
Shub is an old one. I am an old one. You are nothing. I keep my own counsel.
Panel 4, profile view of Isidora. She's smirking. An old one wearing... Sorry? Oh my god.
An old one wearing a tailored Burberry suit in a high-rise condo on the Meg Mile.
Panel 5, close-up of Nyarlathotep's face, which is highly annoyed again.
You are not making this easy.
Panel 6, close-up of Isidora, her finger itched to her lips in mock thought.
Yeah, her finger to her lips.
To her
So, yeah.
Okay.
Mind you, I literally wrote this and I did not do a read through. So
All good.
Oh,
This is what this is for, right?
yeah.
is it supposed to be? Why don't you have a duality like Shub with Cheong?
Page 7, panel 1. Close-up of Nyarlathotep's face, staring at Isidora with an eyebrow cocked. Panel 2. View looking down at Isidora and Hawkberg laying in her lap. Nyarlathotep's hands point at Hawkberg in the corner of the panel.
Perhaps this will be easier. How did she get involved? And how did she tap into the Eldritch energy?
Panel 3. Close-up of Hawkberg's face, sleeping peacefully on Isidora's lap.
I have no clue. She was at the apartment building, but I was invisible to all except for one moment when I showed myself to the little girl.
Panel 4. Close-up of Isidora's face, looking down at Hawkberg. Her face is soft.
Somehow she followed me to the warehouse. I never once thought believed anyone would ever try to touch the yellow sign. She did.
Panel 5. Overhead view of Nyarlathotep looking down at Hawkberg and Isiodora.
And she survived.
Panel 6. Profile view of everybody. All of them. Sorry.
Oh, she, not only survived, she radiated the power. I had put this sleep spell on her to get her to let go.
Page 8. Panel 1. Back view of Nyarlathotep at the liquor cart, pouring himself a drink.
You definitely have a... You've got some splaining to do, Lucy. This mortal could portend some very strange and potentially disastrous consequences.
Panel 2. Borderless, close-up of Nyarlathotep taking a drink. Panel 3. Borderless, close-up of Nyarlathotep.
The balance must always be maintained. Why didn't you just end her?
Panel 4. Close-up of Isiodora. Her mouth is open as if to talk, holding a finger up. Panel 5. Close-up of Isiodora, her lips scrunched up in thought, her finger on her lips. Panel 6. Close-up of Isiodora, no acting.
Well, I mean...
Page 9. Panel 1. Top of page. Top view of Isiodora and Hawkberg.
Honestly, I don't know.
Panel 2. Borderless, takes up rest of page. Upwards view of full-bodied Nyarlathotep, one hand against his hip, the other holding the drink.
Huh. Interesting.
Page 10. Panel 1. Top third of page. Close-up of sleeping Hawkberg's head and shoulders.
One way or another, this has to be figured out and rectified.
Panel 2. Middle third of page. Close-up of Hawkberg's face, zoomed in from panel 1.
She has a story to tell, one I am interested in hearing.
Panel 3. Bottom third of page. Close-up of one of Hawkberg's closed eyes, zoomed in from panel 2.
Then we will talk about your shenanigans with Shub.
All right.
Yeah.
And just to give you a little perspective, this is I'm planning on this being a 48-page double-sized issue.
Okay.
So there's going to be a lot more going on, obviously.
A lot of stuff.
Yeah, no worries.
Moby, did you hear any of that?
Well,
Oh yeah, man, heard it all, man.
Cool.
They had a very, you know, what I'm saying, a very mystery, deep conversation piece setting. You know, like you was going deep in the lore, but you know, we had two characters that are clearly in the story conversating. It was a very nice setup, man.
but no nanomachines, though. I mean, we need more.
No nano machines.
Sorry.
No, it's fine.
So I thought that was really well written, in terms of especially like the way you write the timing and the beats in. That was really really strong. Nyarlathotep has some character. I should really want him to lean towards Bond villain, thanks to Preston. And I kind of do, but at the same time, like, I know it's not going to be like that, which is vaguely disappointing and also curiosity inducing. So you're winning either way here in terms of like how their characterization can work within a variety of stories, because they've got these mortal ties, right? Hawkberg is a nobody, of course. Isiodora acts reasonably well. So yeah, that was fun to read once we figured out what your directions were doing.
Yeah.
Danny, man, it's time for you to say the thing Lunga's always wanted to hear. To tell him I'm proud of you, son.
What, Comic Skate is evil? Very evil.
Danny,
That's what you want to hear. 'Cause it's true.
Danny, you do it right. You do it right. Yeah.
Darth ducked into the channel for 45 minutes and sold 2 books today.
There you go.
Hey, go you.
All right,
Yeah,
John.
that's right.
Danny, you tell him, man, with the Canadian accent. You know?
It
Very
sucked, eh?
Hey, At least I can speak French.
There you go.
True, I can't do that.
Then you should have read. You should have read the parts about the alcohol then, because it was all France.
Yeah, man, Preston, we gotta show that message, man. It's about alcoholism.
I saw that. I saw
yeah.
that.
Yeah. I'm
All
gonna
right.
ban this stream.
John. Yeah.
No, but Danny, man, if you ain't slapped somebody with a baguette, man, you can't be claiming you.
Oh,
Can't be
the
claiming.
baguette.
I am not participating in your bakery-related sexual fantasy.
John, are you
That's
here?
John's job.
John.
Can't be
Is it-
French if you didn't smack somebody with
Paige and John.
Moby.
Paige and John.
baked bread. Yeah.
All right, Larry.
Yes, yes.
Did you give your positives already?
No, I did not.
All right, go ahead.
Positives, there is some really good scene building and a little bit of tension between the two characters, which is good, which moves it forward and doesn't make it seem boring, that we're just listening to two characters talk to one another. So I like that. Yeah, that's my
right.
positives.
Yeah. It has some cool Bond villain-esque kind of dialogue and atmosphere, and stuff.
Yeah, the dialogue interactions were very well.
Yeah.
Were pretty good.
John, you're back.
Yeah. No, I was waiting for people to shut up,
Okay.
but
All right.
No.
no, the character interactions I thought were pretty good. It did kind of, it was interesting to see them go back and forth. The one character was, his love of alcohol was definitely your stuff. So
Just that's all research.
Wait,
I
what
know
did-
shit about cognac.
It was
Look it up.
well, as someone who also knows shit about cognac, I was convinced that you know lots about cognac.
there you go.
There
Yeah.
you go.
Somebody from AA meeting is relapsing right now. Keep
That's
bringing
why
up
Preston
alcohol.
turned red.
Banning the stream as we speak. Recording it to YouTube. Yeah.
Lunga killing chips since 1999.
That's right. Nah, it can't be banned. 2 Canadians on a stream is a positive thing.
Canadians
right,
are black guy.
yeah.
I think
Power
we're
of-
okay.
Yeah.
Well, no, that's not
Yeah,
enough.
that's-
That's
Yeah,
not enough.
Canadians are so foreign. Oh my.
2 Canadians are pure.
All
And
right.
just to give you guys before we get into the construction, to give you guys a little idea of what the Nyarlathotep is. He's a great old one, right? He's like the level of Cthulhu and all these other people. And
Sure.
to me, it felt, and I'm doing this because in the lore too, he has this thing where he's like, he's the more curious about humanity than the other old ones are, which are very ambivalent to humanity in general. They're like insects. So I'm making him really diving deep into this kind of like Lucifer-esque thing they did with the Lucifer series, where he comes to Earth and he wants to like slum it with the humans because he finds them like intriguing. So this great old one, who is this otherworldly great being, is sitting here on Earth wearing a Burberry suit, drinking cognac, which is what she was finding hilarious. Like, what is this?
Cool.
All right, constructives.
Preston, you get to start this time.
It's paced a little slow. I would want it to be somewhat faster for me, but personal taste really. So the conflict seems to be centered around the woman who touched the sign and wielded power. I'm waiting for that to happen, but that's about it.
Yeah, it was funny how we did splashbacks because
Yeah.
literally the very next page
Yeah.
is a woman. That's why I was giggling myself when Larry said, have him on the table in a coma and doing a flashback. Well, she's laying there unconscious, and it's going to be her part of the story what led up to this.
Okay.
I don't know why. I'm not going to try to say his name. I don't know why he puts up with her shit. If he's such a great, powerful old one,
Yeah.
I would imagine that he'd have like super mind reading powers, or be able to extract the information out of her, or why he doesn't just I don't know, supernatural the info out of her somehow.
Yeah.
So I kind of was like, I don't know exactly what his powers are, but assuming that he is, I assume that he was more powerful than she was.
Yes.
Simply from the dialogue, which then made me wonder, why is he putting up with her shit, and why does she feel that she can be so cocky to him and not have any repercussions?
Because she's Isadora. that's her personality. She just doesn't take shit from anyone, and she doesn't care who they are. She just freed herself from the King in Yellow, basically, and is doing things on her own. As far as I haven't explained this yet, but it's going to kind of play into it. I kind of have it to where how Anne Rice has it with her vampires, to where if a vampire made another one, they can no longer read each other's minds. With these great old ones, they're competing, separate but yet kind of competing powers, and they are not supposed to, which is why he's asking her why you messing with Shub's people, because they're not supposed to interfere with each other's machinations. And they can't really, with all the great powers, they can't necessarily read the minds or understanding of what the other old ones or agents of the other old ones are doing, because they're supposed to be separate but equal kind of deals.
But I don't understand why he doesn't just like slap her around or kill her,
I think
or
John
mind
is thinking,
fuck the info out of her brain. Like
because he's not that kind of character. As you see, he's a different old. Like if she ran into Cthulhu would have did that.
Right.
He is meant to be different, and that's why she's asking him, why don't you have a duality? Because in my story, the way I have it set up the mythology here, the great old ones have a duality, kind of like the Holy Trinity with God, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. They have a duality where they're separate but the same. So they typically have a mortal-ish kind of form on Earth. That's their duality. So Shub-Niggurath is the great old one out there in the void somewhere, and Tyog is her duality on Earth. The King in Yellow, the old one, is Hester, and his duality is the King in Yellow, who kind of has his own Deben in Carcosa, but it overlaps with Earth. Nayar does not have a duality. It is just him, the great old one, slumming it as a human on Earth. So he's supposed to be the character that is different from the other great old ones, because I'm trying to do a departure here from how the Lovecraftian myth usually is. I'm trying to give it more of a grounded feel. Still maintain some of that grandeur that it has, but not this completely OP, overpowered everything. I wanted to give it more of a grounded feel with it.
Okay.
That makes sense.
So to that end, you succeed by having people in fairly static shots for 10 pages talking in rooms. But like, I was just thinking back to some of the direction and how, so as I was saying before, you absolutely succeed when you're using art direction in the way you are to give people, like, characters time to think and to let some of what they're saying pass. But then I was thinking to like the drinks, like the Ice Cube page, like that could have been a single panel with a ton of dialogue on it, and it would have been just as slow to read, because dialogue slows the reader down more than art does. And then at least lets you sort of start establishing the scene. One of the things that I think might be helpful in the art direction is to, and obviously you've got to really direct your artist really closely here, and you're already doing that, is to give directions by which Isadora acts. Like the character acts, like waves her arms around, points like this, whatever. Otherwise, it's two people standing in a room, the sides of the room, not moving. One of them is sitting on a couch, not moving. So that's something that I think would really help, because it could otherwise be rendered in an unfortunately static way, which doesn't help given that this is exposition and setup.
Right.
And likewise, if Nylar Hotep's going to Nylar Hotep, we don't see on screen here or on the page here much of his power, or that he's not a dude in a suit with funny sunglasses. So like showing a little bit behind the mask, maybe if Isadora were to say something that gets him actually angry,
that's coming up.
That could give or make the apartment like right, but done by an elder god. It should be a little bit cray. Right.
No, and that's why I mentioned it's 48 pages.
Sense of wrongness because he's a great old one.
Right.
That's something that I think could really add to the atmosphere of a scene like that. I'm thinking to this book. Oh, for fuck's sake, Nowhere Men. Nowhere Men is a ton of people standing in rooms talking. Oh my god. And they still make it work by having it but it's also a book that won an Eisner. And one of the ways that project sort of makes it dramatic is by having, like, once you start getting into the weird science of the story, the rooms that people are talking in just get weird, even if they're having normal conversations. So that might help. And the other crit that sort of came up, oh my god, sorry. Reading Nyarlathotep so many times just really broke my brain, I think. And I've gone insane from this closeness to the great old one. Is that Isidore doesn't really display very much emotion.
No.
And either her or Nyarlathotep should. And that contrast is going to help separate the characters. Because I don't know anything about Hawkberg, and we're not going to learn anything about Hawkberg here because it's a girl on the couch, right? Or in a lap. So aside from like the transportation, the teleportation that has a start but no end on the flip, there's not very much supernatural, which is fine. It's a Cthulhu story. You don't have to be supernatural, but the people, like the humans, tend to go insane and have reactions to things. And I was kind of expecting that.
What's going on, which is going to happen. That's spoilers, but that's what's going to eventually end up happening with Hawkberg. But there's another linchpin, which I don't want to give away with her, that ties it also in. But there's going to be an insanity issue specifically with her. That's what her character is involved for, and it's going to go into her background of this. And then, as far as the power goes, like I said, it was issue 1, and the last 2 pages of it, he pretty much like vaporizes all the occultists that were like attacking Isadora and Hawkberg, and he kills them. So he did that like in a flash at the very end of episode 1 or issue 1, going right into this one. So that's why I brought it back down to this conversation kind of level. But no, I get what you're saying as far as like there is going to be changes with it. I just didn't know where to fit it in these first 10 pages because I wanted to be more of a conversation with them too, rather than showing all this stuff.
So I mean, even if you just show Isidora pacing and Nyarlathotep just standing unnaturally still, like waiting to have something to react to, that still shows a contrast, right? Right. Yeah. And there's going to be more. And then her going back to act protectively around Hawkberg later on, when the conversation turns to Hawkberg, that could work just as well. But otherwise, like right now, they're both just static, and so like I'd say either write the acting, if sitting down is where you want to go. Find a way to compress some of the dialogue into like larger panels to make those beat panels land better, or sort of inject Isidore with more intense emotions as a contrast. No, I get. Find a way to make the backgrounds interesting because that's all you've got for art for most of this passage. And
I wanted it to be this minimalistic look for him. I mean, I could change that to make it a little more interesting to look at.
Like weird Escher-esque paintings, or like the ice glass is actually a Mobius strip, or like everything weird, like just like a little bit weird. Like it's done in the classiest like catalog way, except by a crazy god. Right. Sort of lands that like much like you called back to Lucifer, but Lucifer also has a sex den in his nightclub where he lives, which is also the house bar, and has like bits of angel stuff and whatever, like just kicking about everywhere. And although he runs a nightclub, he's kind of just running like a nightclub out of his basement. Which happens to be a penthouse, and that's weird and egotistical and grandiose as fuck, which absolutely hits the character. He's got his own piano in the middle, and there's no detail like that in Nyarlathotep's apartment here that would give that same sense of location as part of the character. Yeah, that makes sense. And like I said too, this literally, I literally wrote this
the day before yesterday and yesterday over the last 2 days, and I didn't even, just like I did with the very first book. I didn't even do a read through when I presented on here. I just put it raw first, stuff up there, and throw it up there. And usually, like I said, all those things, movements. It's usually long conversations between me and the artist, and together we try to figure out what looks best for positioning, rather than that static thing like you were talking about. I don't want them just constantly looking the same every time it flicks back and forth. So that's something, definitely that I'm going to work on when we get to the artist part, and my editor too, because I do send it to the editor before I start with my artist.
Well, to me, I would say, man, to piggyback off what Danny's saying, I would say you make the room more interesting, where maybe he has, stuff he's collected, stuffed animals, things where you could have her moving around the room, touching things, looking at things. And the thing you got to do, I think, is that you got to make her feel like she's never been there. That's the other question, is that she's too calm in the situation. And since you bring up a lot of alcohol, maybe there's signs he's been drinking too much, or he's trying to liquor her up to get to the truth. That way you can still have the dialogue, but because the room looks strange and, the collections look weird, you keep the reader interested because they're reading the text, but they see her moving around just like them. She's new to the location, so she's inspecting things. And, since she's a young girl and all that stuff, she's less, holding
She's
back on
2,000 years old.
All right. I got it.
Actually, to Mulvey's point, you did mention Nyarlathotep is the one who's curious about humanity. So that's random artifacts is exactly the kind of detail you could put in to the room and have it be like artifacts from all over humanity, weird cyclopean statues using non-Euclidean geometry, bloody, 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 blah. I mean, whatever. Put a triangle on a sphere and it's non-Euclidean.
Yeah,
but
no, it makes sense. It makes sense. Like I said, I was.
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying. I was focusing on trying to make them like really human feeling, and I think maybe I focused on that a little too much. But you're right. Yeah, if I added some of that kind of stuff, it'll make it a little bit better.
All right. On to my story, unless anyone had any more notes.
No.
Ooh, we got one of Preston's.
Yeah.
I'm hyped.
There we go.
To what do we owe this pleasure?
Well, I present pretty regularly over here. Yeah, you just have to show up. That's all. Anyway, let's start.
Are we getting new pages today?
Okay, I completely I more or less redid the whole story.
Okay.
I threw out some characters. I collapsed some scenes. So like there's pages.
It's a tough one to write. So yeah, I understand.
Yeah. Anyway, so a lot of the changes are like from 6 on. So I thought we'd start here.
Cool.
Larry, why don't you narrate? And then
good.
see, Molby, you can be Katya. And John, you can be Lilia. And Danny can be Baranov.
Okay.
And Darth can be Sergey.
Okay.
Oh, and then we're going to need Trinity characters, but don't worry, we'll get them.
Full cast. All right. Page 6, panel 1. Katya anoints the forehead of Lilia, who stands at the front of Sergei in the line of 5 remaining warriors waiting to receive.
From dust you were made, and to dust you shall return.
Panel 2. Katya's finger traces a cross with a crescent moon on Lilia's forehead.
I die with valor.
Panel 3. Katya welcomes Baranov, who stands ready to walk up the short staircase to stand on the platform before the podium.
We praise God for his divine mercy. Let us now listen to our commanding officer and prepare to execute our calling and our enemies. Mother
Panel.
Russia.
Yeah. Hail. No, it's panel 4. Commanding Officer Baranov in his flight suit strides towards the stage as Katya stands aside and gestures her appreciation to him with both hands.
Hoorah.
Yes. Panel 5, Baranov stands before the podium. A large monitor extending down from the 10-foot-high ceiling shows an image of the approaching vessel, a BT-100 transport.
The approaching vessel has still provided no response to our hails. Intelligence has assigned this transport to the designation BT-100. We are 6 hours from the projected combat zone, so ASP tactical drills will commence in 30 minutes.
Tell them, brother.
Yes. Panel 6.
I'm acting so hard today.
Yes, that's great. Yeah. Panel 6, standing in the audience, Lilia and Sergei look at each other in an attempt to bolster their courage.
We've never faced these new units, and we are honored to be the first ones to engage them. The eyes of everyone on our planet fall upon us. It's up to each of you to do. It's up to each of you to do your personal best so we can all return home alive. Warriors, don your armor.
Yeah. Page 7. Panel 1, the warriors stand in unison at the conclusion of the ceremony.
Hoorah.
Yeah. Panel 2, large panel. Katya, Lilia, Sergei, and Baranov, and the other stellar warriors walk into a large hangar that houses their duo suits, which are comprised of bulky space support modules (SSMs) that houses the reactor, thrusters, and space weapons, and a smaller, sleeker armored pilot suit (APS), which are currently detached from the larger module. Dressed in their flight suits, each of them carries their helmets, and many still bear the mark on their foreheads from the ceremony. Panel 3. Baranov stands in front of his armor, which bears his rank insignia and the number 1. A digital display extends from the floor that shows the schematic of the SSS with the iconic counters for dual cannon weapon systems and in terms of ammo. Baranov extends his hand to the touchscreen power button.
SP unit. This is Officer 432 of Belt Defense Liagur. Alpha Knight Alexei Baranov. Begin activation sequence.
SP unit responding.
All right. Got a computer voice too. Page 8, panels, 6 panels. Panel 1. Point of view, rear of the mech. Small cranes lower two 10mm cannon assemblies, which include belt feed depleted uranium DU ammunition stored in a drum and fed into the cannon, down into the behind the shoulder weapons mounts of the FP-27. Photo reference. Electronic voice.
SP-2716 activated mission specified weapons army.
Panel 2. Pipes for the water and steam extend from a cylindrical fission reactor core labeled 2C as the mechanical arm raises into the core of the SSM. Photo reference. Electronic voice again.
Fission reactor 2C serviced and verified installing.
All right, panel 3. Katya, wearing the helmet with 2 insignias described on page 3, sits in her cockpit chair, which she has extended to sit exterior to the 3-meter tall APS mech. She connects the data feed cable to her helmet.
Data feed connected from the Preston Tron.
You got a real TOS like computer voice going on here. I like
it. Does, yeah.
Yes. Panel 4. Katya's face stares at the HUD display on her helmet's visor as she snaps an air hose into place on her helmet.
Reactor chair. Keep arms and legs inside frame during retraction.
Panel 5. Sitting inside the cockpit with the canopy still open to the outside, Katja connects the fourth air hose to the chest of her flight suit, while a data cable and air hose remain connected to her helmet.
Enclosed canopy.
Panel 6. The FP-27's armor canopy lowers on Katja, seated in her cockpit, connects a joined dual hose for her bio waste to her crotch. Oh yeah.
Keep hands and feet inside cockpit during canopy enclosure.
Gotta have that waste disposal unit.
Always.
Page 9. Panel 1. Dim cabin lights shine faintly over Katja as she deploys a neck support brace from the back of the cockpit that limits her head's mobility. That's a good ad. Yeah.
Engage simulation.
Panel 2, series of panels. As seen from outside the visor, the visor's light level rises to shine brightly on Katja's face. Her HUD becomes a grid pattern. Panel 3, the visor begins to turn opaque and obscure the grid pattern and Katja's face.
Beginning simulation.
Panel 4, completely opaque. The visor obscures Katja's face completely and not allowing the viewer to see the faintest detail of the interior. Yet the light shines out from the visor, which illuminates the rest of the cockpit.
Beta Knight Katya. What is Urkov.
Panel 5, background, the solid white color. Katja's face is bathed in the same bright white light that illuminated the cockpit in the prior panel.
Reporting for duty.
Panel 6, large panel. Katja looks out the hangar from the POV of the suit itself as the suit's technology feeds Katja its sensory data from its surroundings. Katja stands among the other FP-27s as one of the many duo suits joined with their SSM module in the hangar. Page 10, panel 1. The suit of armor across from Katja takes on the appearance of Lilia as an armored mechanite with two over-the-shoulder mounted rotary cannons. Lilia's suit gains a painted white Lily decal.
Decal.
Oh, decal, sorry.
Delta Knight, Lilia Danovich, reporting for duty.
Panel 2, Baranov and Sergei superimpose onto their APS mecha.
Delta Knight Sergei Ivanov reporting for duty.
Alpha Knight Baranov taking command of this simulation. Everyone listen up as you come online.
Panel 3, pilot aviators now occupy all 15 of the mecha standing in the hangar.
Your lives will depend on how well you hone your skills for the battle ahead. We are out for blood, warriors. We have no combat parameters yet on the BT-100 for the simulation, so these opponents will be based on outdated specs. We are here to practice our fundamentals, coordinate triangulations, or fire.
Panel 4, a star field against the blackness of space begins to superimpose over the hangar as the Legion of Warriors listens to Alpha Knight Baranov.
Engagement range for this simulation will be 30 kilometers.
Page 11, panel 1, splash page. In a pose similar to the Knights of Wands tarot card, Baranov stands in his armored form, twin cannons over his shoulder, and points towards the enemy. They stand in a virtual launch bay, taking off from the open hatches back of their transport.
Begin simulation 1. Hurrah, warriors.
Right. Page 12, panel 1. On the distant horizon, the numbered computer brackets incoming targets with a red box. In the background, the other armored cloud warriors take up position. In the foreground, Sergei and Lilia take flight, training his guns on a target.
We got target 6, White Lily. Let's make this happen.
Panel 2. In the foreground, Lilia flies, seemingly lying down as the top of her is it head or her
Head. Should be head.
Okay, her head moves in the direction of the thrust, and she faces the target directly in front of her as many kilometers distance on which her guns train. In the background, Sergei, taking aim at the same target, flies exactly in the opposite direction. Other members of the Legion fly in different directions.
6 seconds to firing solution.
Panel 3, Lilia point of view. A HUD display shows a red crosshair on the distant target. Other targets highlighted with red targets fly alongside. One graphic shows a triangulation of the target with Sergei flying in an opposite direction, putting the target in the crosshair with the second time that reads 2.1 seconds.
12 seconds.
Panel 4, Lilia opens fire to both cannons as she changes course and heads towards the target.
Fire and approach.
Panel 5, Lilia flies towards her target, guns blazing. Page 13, panel 1. The targeted Bioroid sees a distant Lilia approaching and moves to dodge her bullets streaming his way. Rounds from Sergei firing at different angle are also streaming towards him. Panel 2. The Bioroid dodges out of the way of Lilia's stream, but Sergei's stream catches him in the center of mass. Panel 3. Sergei looks as the destroyed Bioroid, on his HUD. Is that supposed to be at? Because it doesn't read right.
Look at the destroy on his HUD. No, I think like on his heads-up display. All right.
Well, it looks as the destroyed. Okay.
Yeah, should be looks at.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Haha! Scratch one.
All right. Panel 4. Too late. Sergei sees the Bioroid swooping into his field of view and opens fire.
Blood.
Panel 5. The Bioroid violently shreds Sergei with a stream of DU rounds.
I lost.
Panel 4, page 14.
Where's the vodka?
I don't know, man. I got a feeling we got some real Russian infiltrators.
That's right, yeah. Panel 1, Katya swoops over, firing at an enemy.
Wait, Lily, partner with me.
Panel 2, Katya watches as a Bioroid blasts Lilia with a stream of DU rounds.
Damn it.
Panel 3, Katya looks around, sees the enemy closing on her.
Multiple warriors lost. Consider regrouping. This does not look good.
Panel 4, Alpha Knight Baronoff ends the simulation and returns the Legion to standing in their mech personas in the hangar deck.
You're right, Delta Urkov. It doesn't look good at all. We lost half the squad in the first 60 seconds. This is not a damn computer game, people. This is about to be for real, and I have no intention of dying on this mission. Take 15 minutes to regroup and get your head together, and we'll go at it again.
You know,
Ain't no game, son.
Oh man, I was scared when he had the Russian voice, but once the Canadian accent came back,
it's really hard when it goes from like
hard.
technical stuff to like
yeah.
weirdly folksy idioms.
I felt a lot of hope once I heard the Canadian accent.
I forgot to change this. This is Baronoff speaking.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well,
Valkyrie, request conference with Admiral Hood.
There you go.
so yeah, receipt of the death Baronoff issues order. Okay, yeah.
Affirmative, Captain. Stand by.
Panel 2, Admiral Hood appears
Darth,
on the
you
view.
can be Hood. There you go.
Yeah.
I'm Hood.
You're Hood.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay.
Admiral Hood appears on the view screen before Cassius. A steel plate sits on top of the right half of the Admiral's face and provides an electronic eye that replaces an old war wound. Cybernetics has similarly replaced his left arm with one made of stainless steel. Baronoff stands and salutes.
Well met, Admiral.
Oh, Britai.
Yeah.
I see the results of the first simulation were not promising.
Establishing the enemy at 20% efficiency upgrade over their Prior model puts them way over the curve. And I plan on taking that down as we get closer to the battle to boost morale. I understand the logic, Admiral, but if enemy, has achieved those kinds of operational gains in how their mecha perform, we cannot defeat them man on man.
Panel 3, Admiral Hood sits at his desk looking at a view screen which features Alpha Knight Baronoff.
We can't make any valid force projections until we've had contact with the enemy, and that duty has fallen to you, Alpha Knight.
We could commit to Reserve Legion, the Reserve Legion, and entire this fight with 2-1 odds.
Sorry, should be
enter this fight with 2-1 odds. Get the same intel with less loss of life.
If we sent more force, they would have responded in kind. A stand-up fight is all we're going to get.
I see your point, sir.
Panel 4, Planet Venus viewed from space. On the far side of Venus, an artificial hemisphere reflects the light into the darker side, which illuminates it with the intensity of a second less intense sun. Large, puffy white clouds hang in the skies over the snow-covered alien landscape washed by blue oceans.
Hood, okay. This marks the first act of aggression from Venus since the Treaty of Deimos. There's no telling what they might do if this probing attack succeeds.
Panel 5, Trinity genetically modified all flora and fauna beyond their ancestral earth-dwelling forebears. Amidst a snow-covered pine cedar forest, a small furry fox-like creature moves through the leaves.
We have to plan for Trinity's follow-up.
Page 16, panel 1. A large boar-like predator runs out of the undergrowth towards the small furry creature. Roar.
John, you be Lucifer.
Our first Bioroid detachment should encounter the enemy in the next 5 hours.
Panel 2. Trinity, the character from the originally featured on the whiskey paint cover of Guinevere 3, stands in a clearing at the edge of the forest, tended by Lucifer, who is a drone, and Maximilian, who is a warrior. The warriors appear as towering black giants of solid muscle with menacing biomechanical implants extending from their forearms. Far more diminutive than warriors, drones feature a striking beauty of aquiline and androgynous appearance. The boar-like creature approaches Trinity from out of the forest, carrying the corpse of the fox-like creature in its mouth. Letter or note, Trinity speaks with one of 3 different voices, Guinevere, Viviax, or Eric. Each should have different styles.
Danny, you can be Trinity. Right?
Sure.
Earth diplomatic channels are condemning the aggression.
Yes, good boy.
Panel 3. Trinity's sexy calves and sandal feet. The boar-like beast drops the kill at his master's feet.
You see how he is, Lucifer?
Panel 4. Lucifer genuflects to his queen.
The kind
Indeed
of bow.
I do, your highness.
Panel 5. Leaving the forest, Trinity leads Lucifer and Maximilian towards the nearby driverless enclosed hover car parked along a stream. In the distance lies a sci-fi cityscape covered in snow.
Our perfect planned society constructed from a hell no human could imagine taming.
All right, so
Woo!
that's like 10 pages.
Sure.
I snuck one in, so 11.
Yeah, whatever.
All right, there we go.
It's your stream, right? So.
Yeah. John.
It's good. I liked.
Fair enough.
It was good. Question mark.
John,
Are we gonna do this like Crossfire? Larry, Longa, Danny.
sound like he owes Preston money and he's
Yeah.
All right, John. Yeah, go ahead.
No, okay, so I feel like the setup to what's coming, you're spending more time with it and building up to it. So I feel more stakes for the impending doom. I like introducing Trinity before the shit hits the fan. So we kind of know who we're facing off against. So I feel like, assuming that what did happen in these pages is still going to happen, but at a later date, I feel like it's going to have a lot more weight to it than it did before.
Awesome. I love it when people are sad when my characters die. That's my goal.
I mean, because I remember
yeah.
when we did this before, and I
Yes.
couldn't exactly explain the issue that I had with it.
Right.
And I feel like now with these pages, when that happens, this kind of build up to it is going to be good, and I think it's going to it'll have more emotional depth when basically you murderize everybody.
All right, Larry.
Yeah, I like the mock battle idea to kind of set up the technical aspects of your world, and then leave the action for later on. That way they're not combining the two together, and it kind of draws it out a little bit more than it probably should during that scene. Because it's really neat to learn about all that kind of stuff, but then you're going right into the battle, or that's how your previous script was. But this mock battle thing kind of lets that sit a little bit easier, so we're not so focused on the technical aspects. That way, when you do get to that point, you don't have to include all the stuff about how the HUDs come up and everything. You can just do it and then have the fight.
It worked out well for exposition. It worked out really well for exposition dump. But there's like a couple of guys who were in the Marines that I gamed with on Sunday, and they read my script, and I'm like, "What do you think?" He's like, "If they're traveling to the enemy and they've got hours, they're going to be doing battle drills the whole time." I'm like, Danny.
You mean they're not going to wait until 30 seconds before they drop off the plane to go over their plan?
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm not familiar with a previous version of the script.
Right.
Probably the accent didn't help, but Baranov's speaking voice sort of goes between technical explanation to folksy really quickly. Usually when you get you use a lot of idioms in his speech. And I'm not sure if that's on brand for him or just sort of starting with basic English you would say and then changing it later. So that's 50-50 because obviously the Russian accent that I was faking, who knows. So in terms of story, I don't know what's going on with Trinity. Could be cool. It seems like an interesting character. I like the voices. That probably foreshadows something that's neat. So that lands in terms of trying to set something up, like probably where the mech pilots are going and what they're about to face. It feels weird that they would lose so quickly to a simulation of outdated technology. I don't get the sense that these characters are well prepared for current technology they're about to fight if they're losing to fake older technology so early, if that makes sense.
He did explain that when he was talking to the Admiral. He said he turned it up to like uber hard mode, and he was going to slowly reduce the difficulty slider to pump them up and make them think they're getting better. Psychological training thing.
Because like the way these are supposed to go is like, okay, well, we've got the plans for the Death Star. Let's do a fake run. Okay, well, we can barely pull it off. Oh God, it's even bigger and stronger than we thought. Like that's the surprise, right? Whereas the part where he does mention that like the enemy's capabilities are lower, sort of suggests is not going to go that way, and that I was surprised when our heroes died in 60 seconds. Which means I'm not going to be surprised when they die even faster in the reality that they're presumably about to encounter.
So you think it would be better if they win the simulation?
So even if they don't win the simulation, like, okay, well, we lasted 60 seconds and we know this is a simulation of their current tech on hard mode. Oh God, their tech is better than we thought, because you're going to a fog of war against the enemy anyways. Right? So that itself is risky enough. And like, and that's sort of the thing that happens, like, in any sort of war drama, right? Like, okay, we're totally prepared. We have these great plans. We have great intelligence. It's still a shit show.
Mhm.
And it's going to be a shit show if our good guys can't stay in formation, if they can't follow their tactics properly, if the enemy has superior tech, any number of other reasons.
Mhm.
Never mind, the home field advantage and all that other stuff. So, like, it's okay if they suck against a simulation of their current tech with the best possible AI,
Mhm.
because then they're practicing their drills. How do we fight this?
Mhm.
And then later on, when they actually fight it and that doesn't work, better armor, the enemy has better guns.
Mhm.
We were doing this in space, and now we're doing it on land. Lots of good reasons. Then it's like, okay, well, they weren't prepared was the problem.
Mhm.
And I don't know if the problem is they weren't prepared, the enemy's too strong, they went in half-cocked. It could be any number of reasons. But since they're preparing, where's the surprise based on this kind of preparation? Either our guys are really good and they're overconfident,
Mhm.
or they're trying to practice like a new technique that they can't actually implement in reality because it's even more dangerous or something like that. So I was definitely thinking about that.
Mhm.
I like the Admiral's pep talk. I was sort of surprised there wasn't a pep talk to all of the soldiers, like at the end of the simulation. Okay, guys, I brought this up to 11. You guys, you guys sucked. You can do better. Let's do it again. Like, nothing like that. And 5 hours is more than enough time to send them back in, right?
Right. Well, yeah, there's going to be more simulation. Right.
Yeah. So I just didn't get the what's happening next in this location before we switched locations to Venus.
Okay.
So that sort of got stopped when Baranov was talking to
Baranov
the Admiral.
says, all right, we're going to take half an hour and then we're going to come back and do this again.
Okay,
we had to
cool.
go. Yeah.
So I just forgot that.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Also cool.
Right.
I think it's because he was talking to the Admiral, so I know they were talking about strategy in there as well.
Yeah.
And if you want me as the reader to care about what happens to these people when they inevitably die later on, how do they feel about having done so well or so poorly against the simulation? Would be another way to make, to get that emotion out of the reader when you kill these people.
Good point. All right, Darth.
Yeah, I mean, I felt that as a fan of Robotech, I got the feels. It draws me in. I got a real good sense of the world, galaxy, however you want to describe it. It pulled me in, so I knew exactly. Being a fan of sci-fi, at least I knew exactly where I was at and the kind of feels I should have, and that was really good. The characters, the ones that had more, than a couple lines, were intriguing, and it did bring me into it, and I do like the aesthetic. Not again. I don't know what the original one was, so I haven't seen or remembered what it sounded like originally. The only thing I would say is I felt that that whole training sequence, I appreciated her getting in the ship because it gave me the whole Rick Hunter montage of him getting into the ship and how how he gets into Skull One and everything like that. But it felt a little drawn out. It felt like it went a little long for me. That could just be a personal taste. Not necessarily, a bad thing. Just felt a little drawn out to me. But then again, when I see it as panels, as artists, as art, it might be different than reading it. But that's the only thing I got of it. But otherwise, solid.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, one of the notes I got from my editor was needs more mecha. So there's more shots.
You totally landed
more
the
guns.
mecha.
Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, no, the mecha was great, like lots of detail there. And you definitely give enough direction. Like, I have a really good feel of like, yeah, this is like a well-conceived world with well-conceived machines that are going to then explode.
Yeah, like I said, I talked about it with these two Marines for a while, and we're like, all right, what weapon system were there? And we went over everything to how big the mech should be and what weapon systems they are. The one guy was like missiles, and we sat down and we're like, okay, so what is the effective, or what is the muzzle velocity of of a cannon? It's like 5 kilometers a second, and I'm like, okay, so if they're firing at a target And space, you can fire at a target way out there. So if they're firing at a target that's 30 kilometers away, that target has 6 seconds to react. And they're like, yeah. I'm like, yeah. So feel like you don't really need missiles that much. Big guns, So
as one of the local Canadians, just confirming your scale. So 3 meters is about 2 humans tall, and 10 millimeters is half an inch.
Right.
I wish Larry was more proud of his Canadian roots like you did.
So I'm not sure, and I'm not a military person in any capacity. I don't know if a 10 millimeter gun counts as a cannon, but it definitely for mecha seems pretty small scale for a cannon.
I mean, it's firing depleted uranium slugs.
At that point, it doesn't matter. That's like.
And this was something else. How big does a cannon have to be? Because when you start getting up to 20 millimeter, 30 millimeter type stuff, the ammo just tripled in size, and those are the kind of guns you see on
small Navy ships in the 17th century.
Small Navy ships and stuff. And the thought was, okay, how do we control? So it came down to heat, which space, by the way, is kind of a bitch when it comes to heat. Mm-hmm. We would think it would be you get free cooling. You don't actually get free cooling.
Cooling requires airflow, and there's no air space.
Yeah, so it's like these guns are going to be generating a shitload of heat, and so that's where we're fluid cooling it, and then so it's the smaller. So we came up with 10 millimeter, being enough with depleted uranium. Particularly if you're firing a stream of them to take out a target.
Cool beans. It sounds like you've done a proper sanity check. So
nice.
I've definitely seen some things written where people just don't get metric, and it's like, what are you saying?
Yeah.
I have only one thing to add based on something that I think Danny said was about the training montages. Usually I'm not a fan of those because I feel like they have no real emotional weight to them because they don't really mean anything to me as the audience. I didn't feel that way much here because it was so short. I think I would advise against either drawing it out or doing too many of them because I think it can will be more distracting.
Yeah, I totally agree. Showing more mechs now or whatever is not as good as if you're going to take the note about how do the characters feel about it, cutting back to that.
You can have them talking about how they feel about it because then we know how they feel about it. But I just mean wasting time doing a simulation.
There wasn't going to be another simulation. I mean, there will be, but we won't see it. The crew will be doing many simulations that we don't see. All right.
Right. That's kind of right.
Yes. All right. Very good. Okay.
Well, I would say this, man. After hearing what everybody said, I would say you got some issues that might hurt it. And I would say for the training montage, your best bet would be, forget the whole levels thing. I would take that out. I would just have it like a serious mission. I would use the montage to showcase the different character tactics, like someone who's the lone gunner that won't listen. That way you can kind of showcase the characters' personalities a little more. This character might run into the battle more, then you could have the captain yelling at him. And when the simulation ends, they don't die. They just let the captain down. Maybe somebody got the mechs a little too damaged. That way you could have the readers just off the simulation invested in, okay, I'm more of the lone gunner. That's my character. Everybody can identify who sticks out to them. Then later on, when you get to the real mission, you can probably alter the expectations, or you can showcase more character development. Maybe the captain has to go yell at somebody, talk to them. That way you could develop the characters more. The other thing I would say, the danger you risk with the Trinity character, and this kind of goes with your you know, your own theory on things with continuity, I wouldn't give that character more than one voice, because now you add in multiple voices is you're suggesting that they should have known the Guinevere book, you know, to get the reference versus.
I mean, they don't have to. I mean, all right, let's ask Danny, because Danny doesn't know Guinevere.
I don't.
So Trinity will be speaking with 3 voices over the it's just like as a character, she's going to speak with 3 different voices that have 3 distinct different kind of accent, dialecty kind of stuff going on. There's like
3 different personalities.
Yeah, 3 different personalities, effectively.
Essentially.
Okay, so obviously this is easily solvable with art direction for the letterer.
Yeah.
It's partially solvable with art direction for the character. Is
right.
there,
no,
like,
I mean the question wasn't how to do it. The
Eve
question
Freeze?
was, if you're coming into this cold, do I need to explain that, or are you okay with the fact that Trinity speaks in 3 voices?
To me, that adds
with the
hold on.
lettering doing that, it's not a problem, especially if the 3 voices care about different things.
Mhm.
I've actually a couple of years ago, I did a sample script for the Mad Cave talent contest, and I very foolishly chose to do something with Midnight City,
Okay.
which it's this like Detroit noir thing.
Right.
Anyways, the protagonist is followed by 3 ghosts, but they all basically have the same voice, and it was deeply irritating. I couldn't even they're color coded in the lettering, but they don't say anything different. They're all like dead Marines, hoorah, right? And so like I'm trying to write a script where these people are like they're ghosts plaguing the protagonist, and I was just like trying to find something for them to do or find a way to differentiate them. We're not going to have that problem here. So I think that's fairly successful. Using it as an excuse to do callbacks, I'm not going to get the joke. But if there are people who care about things that are different, it's going to be obvious that this is a character with 3 personalities.
Well,
so I'm not too worried about that.
Well, to me, I would say maybe, if you're going to go that route, maybe you got to have a tell. Maybe there's some type of glowing energy, you know, kind of like the old Cerberus. Maybe, you know, the left shoulder, the right shoulder, you have some type of imagery. Because
I'm not going to do that. I'm not doing it. I'm not going to do it.
Different colors of, you know, lighting in the eyes, but again,
not the eyes.
Direction.
No. You got, you know, some energy type head thing. But to me,
not doing that.
The lettering direction should be enough.
To me, I'd say if you go in with the character's design and all, I would say maybe her tone switches here and there, so you could show she's bipolar. But I wouldn't
She's
go.
not bipolar.
She's not bipolar. She has multiple. She has literally multiple personalities. Yes.
Right.
Bipolar. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Oh man.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Maybe.
Preston, don't listen to the haters. Trinity's fine.
I think she's fine. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
I like Trinity. Yeah.
She's going to be fine. You're going to actually get to play with Trinity the way you originally wanted to.
Yeah.
For all the haters,
Exactly.
got on you for what you did to Guinevere.
Yeah, I know.
I like that original ending. Come on now. I was so mad that you changed it.
You were like the only person.
I
Larry.
know. But,
What was your question, Danny?
I was going to say one of the nice things about comics is this is a good thing to just play with to see if it'll land.
Right. Exactly.
Like this is a worthwhile experiment. And I'm behind it.
All right. Cool. All right. So, Molby, I saw you submitted some pages, but we're almost at like 2 hours and 23 minutes here. Can we do this next week? Will you be on next week?
It's gonna be good, man. It's gonna be a tribute to you. You're gonna love it.
I actually got to drop out too.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Can we do this for next week?
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Cool. Thanks.
We did have a lot of scripts.
We did a lot of scripts today, and
Yeah.
that's great. I'm glad. I'm glad we got more writers coming on.
I mean, if we start having a lot of scripts, I won't be. I can always not drop pages 1 week. I don't mind. I've been like hogging the stream for like what 6 months now because nobody was dropping scripts.
Right. I know.
So now we got a lot of scripts. So
Hey,
I'm definitely the most
writing.
proficient of the writers here. So
Yeah. John's been cranking it, and I gotta say, your stories have been getting better.
much better. Yeah.
Yeah, much better.
Not to say that you were bad at the beginning or anything.
No, I'll say that you were bad in the beginning.
well, Preston knows my earlier work.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Anyway, all right, cool.
I'm gonna say this, man.
right.
That from the script reading, that I think John was the closest person I think that might be a Russian infiltrator. You know what I'm saying? Danny was kind of sounding like, you know, that kid that he had Russian parents, but he was raised in Canada.
Mhm.
And Darth just switched it up a little too early for me to believe he's Russian.
I switched up what too early?
You switched the voice too soon, man. You didn't stay at it all 100%, man.
Oh, that's not happening. Listen, I'm like Elizabeth Olsen. She lost her Sokovian accent halfway through. I lost the Russian accent.
I will say this has definitely been a really, really good day for everyone's acting.
Thank you so much. Yeah. All right. Well, tune in next week. Hopefully, we'll have some more pages. We'll see.
We will have vodka on the next stream.
Exactly.
Preston will be taking shots for everyone that stays in accent. He'll take a shot of
cognac,
potato
cognac.
All right. All right. Good night, everybody. It's been Preston Holder, Pocket Jacks Comics. Thank you very much for your time. Take care.
Good night.
Night.